My duo both have final MVPs on the same team together.
Your duo didn't even like each other, man.
And they three-peated, so why does that matter?
Draymond Green is a grade A jackass. Steph Curry is an amazing human being that is amazing at keeping him level.
He had a chance to win in 2019 with no Kevin Durant, no Boogie, and it was just Draymond and just Steph. And what happened? They got walked.
You got beat by Rudy Gobert, and you are going to tell me that Jamal Murray is better than Scottie Pippen.
Nobody plays off of anybody better than Jamal off Nikola Jokic.
Then why don't they win as much as the
Because
Spurs?
they had better teams.
Welcome to the GOAT Bracket. We're here to find out the greatest duo of all time. Is it Jordan and Pippen, Steph and KD, or the iconic duo of Frankenstein and his bride? In The Bride, only in theaters March 6th. Today, our judges are Derek, Kenny, and Mike. To kick us off, we've got our number 2 seed, Magic and Kareem, versus the number 7 seed, Steph and Draymond.
Well, let's talk about Jabbar and Magic, two of the greatest individual players. Now, when you put them together, we're talking about a big and a point guard who play off each other so well. I'm not having anything that I'm missing. I got a bucket getter in Jabbar. I got a bucket getter in Magic. I got a transition guard in Magic. I got a transition big in Jabbar, who wasn't that initially, but turned into that and became elite. These guys are fantastic together.
You mentioned a whole lot of things besides defense, and you mentioned a whole lot of things that have nothing to do with them as a duo.
Sure.
Individually, obviously, the most talented duo up here, the 2 top 5 players of all time. As a duo, Draymond and Steph are by far the most complementary duo of all time.
Sure.
If you have Steph Curry on the court, you have an elite offense. If you have Draymond Green on the court, you have an elite defense. That synergy cannot be matched by any duo ever.
It's interesting you mentioned defense. I don't know if you know this, but when Jabbar retired, he was the all-time shot block leader. Nobody can say that in NBA history.
sure.
On top of him being the all-time shot block leader, when he retired, number 3 all-time in rebounding. That means that we're stopping plays with Jabbar stopping plays.
Yeah.
And on top of all of that, in terms of offense, he was the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Nobody was getting more buckets than him.
For sure.
So not only do I have the best bucket getter.
His best scoring years before Magic, nevertheless. That has nothing to do with the duo list.
No, it doesn't.
So the blocks have nothing to do with duo list. It's an era where obviously more
100%
shots at the
does.
rim. It's an era where obviously more shots are taken there, more shots are funneled towards the big. Draymond Green is the best defender of his era.
Imagine that,
in
funneled
the era
toward the
where
big.
it's hardest to play defense. It's an era where offense is hit a point where it's unwatchable to some fans. Because
Harder to
offense
play
is so
defense?
unstoppable.
It's interesting you mentioned harder to
So
play
much
defense.
harder.
I'm playing in a big man era, and you're talking about funneling guys toward me.
Great.
So in addition to me having to deal with Moses, having to deal with Artis Gilmore, having to deal with all of these bigs, now I got to also deal with other guards getting funneled toward me, and I'm smacking that
And I
shit
have to
into
deal
the
with
third
LeBron
and fourth
James,
row.
prime
That's
James
what I'm
Harden
doing.
with max spacing around him.
Absolutely.
Nevertheless, everything we say about Jordan preventing legends from getting rings,
Yes, sir.
this duo prevented legends from getting rings.
Yep.
James Harden is known as a playoff choker, one of the worst offensive players to fall apart in the playoffs over and over again. LeBron got stopped from having the greatest legacy of all time because of these duos. That's without even getting into Damian Lillard getting locked up all the time by these guys. A whole slew of stars that couldn't get anything going in an era where everybody's offensive numbers are so good in the playoffs until you see Draymond Green in the playoffs.
And it's interesting you mentioned guys' numbers, but Draymond Green's his numbers fell off as time went on. Jabbar and Magic, by the way, when these guys were together, the longer they stayed together, the better Magic even got.
Draymond Green was second in DPOY 2 years ago when he was washed. That's quite the longevity for an elite defender.
I mean, think about who he was going up against. Like, imagine Jabbar going up against Evan Mobley. Are we serious right now? Imagine Jabbar having to deal with Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson is getting played off the floor against Jabbar.
Sure,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mentioning the 150th best players they played against.
Absolutely.
And not
This is his
LeBron
competition.
James Harden.
That's his competition. Meanwhile, Jabbar's competition as a defender, he's got to deal with Moses. He's got to deal with Hakeem Olajuwon. Bigs like that Patrick Ewing. And he's still, I'm finals MVP at 37, 38 years old. Y'all haven't even lasted that long. You were telling me that Draymond Green in the finals, he shouldn't even played in the NBA finals. But Jabbar, on the other hand, in 1985,
I was telling you.
in 1985, at 38 years old, was the best player in the finals. They gave him the flowers. Why? Because he was the best player in the finals. Draymond, on the other hand, was basically playing himself off the court. Why? Because offensively, he can be deficient as a bucket getter.
And that's why we have such an amazing duo and why we're better than the sum of our parts. So many duos can come up here and say they have the 2 most talented players. If we're using your logic, Steph and KD are by far the best duo of all time. But we're not. We're talking about duos and complement each other. Draymond Green is a grade A jackass. Steph Curry is an amazing human being that is amazing at keeping him level. Steph Curry, amazing offensive player that needs some defensive help. Here comes Draymond Green. They are yin and yang. They make each other better. Everything you're saying about Draymond,
and that's the same thing that Jabbar and Magic did. They were basically yin and yang and made each other better. Jabbar didn't even want to play fast. But once he didn't want to play fast. But once he got with Magic,
there's no want to here. These guys can do things other ones
once he
can't.
did,
They have
you saw
no
what ended
choice
up
but to
happening
complement
with
each
them.
other.
They became the best. 6
They
NBA champions.
They enabled
5
Kevin
NBA
Durant to get a
championships
ring.
for them.
They enabled Kevin Durant to get a ring. Nobody else could ever do that amazing accomplishment.
The amount of counters.
This was an amazing debate.
The amount of counters is crazy.
OG put me on some game because this is a duo that obviously I never got to see.
I do think OG didn't start off talking about how Magic and Kareem mesh well together. I do like that Isaac countered that by saying you never talked about them as a duo and how Steph and Dre are like, they mesh well together.
With a decision of 2-1, the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry and Draymond Green is advancing to the next round.
I thought it was interesting that I didn't bring up Jabbar and Magic as a duo. In fact, that's one of the first things I brought up when I said that these two guys being as good as they were apart, once they got together, they were even more awesome. I originally brought that point right to the table, and I talked about how good Jabbar was as a defender, how good Magic was, and I talked about how good they were together and how they won as many games as that they did, as many games they did. But clearly I didn't convince you guys, so.
Our next matchup is the number 4 seed, Duncan and Tony Parker, versus the number 5 seed, Steph and KD.
First things first, you guys look great today, all you judges. Just
Oh, man, I appreciate the glaze.
Nice +1.
My duo check boxes, right? We got accolades together. We won together. We got one of the highest win percentages in NBA history, over 800 wins together when you combine the regular season and the playoffs, 4 championships. I don't know what you're going to be able to say against that. I'm very interested to hear. You do have an incredible duo as 2 individuals, but together, I just don't know if they can top Duncan and Parker.
Okay, you said your duo has all those accolades and stuff, but at the end of the day, the Spurs have such a great team. You have Greg Popovich leading the charge, and just overall, the Spurs. Okay, so 4 championships in 16 years, right? The last one because of Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard. But look at the Warriors. I mean, KD and Curry, 3 finals appearances in 3 years and 2 rings. Like no one's doing that. No.
If they were so great, wouldn't it be more?
It wasn't more because of that man right there. Well, not him, but Draymond Green. Draymond Green ruined the chemistry. KD would have stayed there longer.
You just held one of the points I couldn't wait to get to.
Yeah,
your duo's so weak that they got another guy on the team. They almost made
that's
it 4.
That's not because of basketball.
No. They asked him to have Clay or Draymond, which means that your duo had a lot of options. There was only Tony Parker and Duncan on the table. There was no other duo that they could have put on this panel up here. So you really got to force some. I'm fighting against 4 up here. How good is your duo that they can make another duo on this panel?
Okay, no. Okay, hold on.
My duo won in the 2000s and the 2010s. They won while they were young in their prime. They won while they were older.
When they were old, it was because of Kawhi and Danny Green. Come on, you know that, dude.
That makes them so great.
That doesn't make them great. That makes Kawhi great. That does nothing.
Kawhi won the MVP without having a play ran for him. Correct? They was able to open up the light, let him get shine. Manu Ginobili is the guy to get shine. This is not silly at all.
Silly argument. Okay, at the end of the day, look, pound for pound, both of them were the top 3 players in the NBA at the same time. That's never happened in NBA history.
So if they were so great, why did they need to come together?
I don't know what the hell that has to do with anything. At the end of the day, they are the best duo. Just 2 of them together, the best duo. No other duo up here. Maybe Kobe and Shaq. I'll get to you later, brother. But at the end of the day, I really think KD and Curry, just pound for pound top 3 in the NBA at that time. They did a lot of winning. They had the greatest playoff run of all time, 16-1. No one's touching that. They had 16-1 is the greatest playoff run. I mean, at the end of the day,
we have a duo that did that.
Okay, but in the modern NBA, closer to the modern NBA, it's harder defenses, and we'll get to that later. But at the end of the day, I do think Curry and KD, and any argument you're going to say, Tony Parker, unfortunately, I love the guy, I'm from San Antonio, but he's not touching Curry and KD in terms of greatness.
But no, at the end it's a duo. And my duo both have final MVPs on the same team together. Your duo cannot do that.
So you're saying because KD won 2 Finals MVPs, Curry won a Finals MVP down the line. So Curry is capable. He's capable of doing it. He could have won it with KD.
He didn't. There is no coulda, shoulda.
Because he was playing second.
There is no
he was
coulda,
okay. He was great enough to give it to KD at the time.
Facts. My duo had top 5 offense and top 5 defense, top 10 defense, top 10 offense together.
Okay, you keep saying defense. What is Tony Parker contributing to the defense, dude?
I don't give a damn.
Look, you just said defense.
If he was on the court and they was able to get it done, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, congratulations.
Wasn't he?
So same with the Warriors. The Warriors, the same thing. 16-1. Okay, they did it together. And then you're comparing the great teammates that Duncan and Parker had. Ginobili.
You got it.
He's a GOAT. You have all this stuff.
I
know I got it. Goddamn it. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think just. You have Draymond as the third player.
You don't even have arguments.
I keep saying arguments. Every argument you're saying doesn't make sense. And then he just has hella confidence.
Too much of a load.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all, that's too much of a workload for him.
I will say you got circles talked around you, mama. I'm sorry. It wasn't there.
I feel like there's a lot of meat left on the bone for both of y'all. And I'm not going to say what because somebody will advance to the next round, so I don't want to give them the points.
It's Duncan and Parker.
Duncan and Parker.
Duncan and Parker.
He did run circles around me, but at the end of the day, I think we all know Curry and KD are better, but at the end of the day, this is a debate show, and he did debate me better.
My name is Frankenstein.
What do you want with a dead girl?
I want the same thing everyone else wants.
A bride.
Rated R, March 6th.
Up next, we have our 3 seed Kobe and Shaq versus the number 6 seed LeBron and Wade.
All right, when we're talking about Shaq and Kobe, we're not even talking about a Batman and Robin situation. We are talking about Batman and Batman, Batman and Superman, whatever you want to call it, because these two were top 5 in their prime at the same time. They three-peated. They got more rings than LeBron and Wade. I mean, I would honestly like to hear what your argument is.
I think Batman and Batman is one of the wildest takes I've heard in my entire life. You don't believe that your damn self. Why would you say that? There's no such thing as Batman and Batman when it comes to that duo, because that was purely seen as Shaq's team as one. But compared to my duo, which is more not on the same level necessarily because there's a clear alpha. We've seen LeBron win 2 MVPs, Shaq won 1. We've seen you guys win 3 championships. Cool, we were able to get 2. And something about my duo that's even more impressive, which is not to say yours is not, but in terms of how our team is constructed, it was much harder to win back then considering our 2 star players and how duplicative
the weak East? Are you talking about the weak East?
We're not talking about the weak East. No.
Yes, we are. That's exactly what we're talking about.
We're talking about duos
we're talking
right
about
now. Don't lose the plot. Don't lose the plot.
You mentioned team accomplishments. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about team accomplishments, but I'm talking about how my team is constructed as well. You feel me?
So beat better competition, right? You said that.
So what?
Competition. That was the word that you said.
I'm talking about competition.
Oh my God, am I being gaslit?
Are you gaslighting me right now? What type of conversation are we having right now?
Okay.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so point is, LeBron, 2 rings with the Miami Heat. LeBron, also 2 NBA MVPs with this team. Of course, D-Wade was on the decline, but even while he was on the decline, he was still making All-NBA seasons continuously throughout the entire run. With what they're able to accomplish for that short amount of time, while we witnessed, unlike D-Wade, his health slowly declining, 2 championships is one of the more impressive feats of all time.
I think we cannot ignore 2011. I don't think we cannot ignore 2011.
Your duo didn't even like each other, man. That doesn't mean nothing. You're talking about 2011.
So why does that matter? Why does that matter? They didn't like each other and they three-peated. 2011 happened.
You can't talk about the Shaq and Kobe duo without also talking about the disappointments of the conversation,
the powers of your duo,
your guy was big for no reason. He ran the other guy out of the city. He had to leave.
Because they won 3 championships. There was winning too much. And it caused
there was winning too much?
Yes.
Nah, man. You can't be the greatest duo of all time if you say you're winning
You said not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. Y'all got 2.
I did not say that.
What are we doing?
I did not say that, all right? I'm talking about
My
these
bad,
2
you're
individuals. I'm the representation right now.
At the party.
Exactly. Let's get the facts straight. Outside of the actual accomplishments, if we're talking about the on-court products and the at times difficulties that could happen with my duo, with them being able to make it work, being similar-ish players in terms of how they like to get their buckets, while also predicate, really influencing an entire generation. Really, people don't want to talk about it, but LeBron and Wade and how they're able to thrive as a slashing duo really built a lot of things that we've seen over the last, 10, 15 years. Meanwhile, Shaq and Kobe, they're just Shaq and Kobe. There's not much you can
they're
do
just
about
Shaq
it,
and Kobe. Absolutely.
But there's real actual brain work and brain trust and actual skills that have to happen on the court in order for us to thrive, which is actually, when you talk about what the word greatness means, this is defined by that.
I just think if you look at the help around Shaq and Kobe compared to LeBron and D-Wade.
What help do we have? You're not saying Chris Bosh. Please don't do that. It was supposed to be a big 3. No one ever talks about him as...
It was a big 3. It was a big 3.
It was supposed to be.
Who was the 3rd best player on the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe?
It's Shaq and Kobe. There was no. Exactly. No one ever talks about it.
That's the point.
This was a hard debate to judge. You could tell y'all had the most friendliest debate up there. Even though we didn't spend too much time on it, bringing up 2011, I think does play some part.
For me personally, I'm leaning towards Kobe and Shaq.
I'm going to go Kobe and Shaq.
I'm leaning Kobe and Shaq.
I understand their point. It's Kobe and Shaq. Whenever people talk about duos, memes, I get it. It's them.
Wrapping up the first round, we have the number 1 seed Jordan and Pippen versus the number 8 seed Jokic and Murray.
I don't understand how you are going to compete with all of the championships, with all of the accolades, with all of the winning when your duo has 1 ring, has a couple of nice runs, and it's just there. It is a duo. We have 7 more duos or 6 more duos here. You are the worst one here. You would get beat by all the other duos here. And so I don't understand why going up against Jordan and Pippen is the matchup for you. What you have, against them.
So the conversation's about the best duos of all time, meaning how you play together. So I would think that two elite scorers, two elite passers, two elite playmakers that play together would make a better duo from a center point guard position than a shooting guard and a small forward. On top of that, they are the only duo ever to go through an NBA playoff run, average 25, 5, and 5 together on elite efficiency versus the best defenses in the playoffs. And they have 1,000 assists between each other in just 8 years played. So we can get to this conversation.
You said a lot of good attributes from your duo. The one thing that you did not say is good defense, because Jamal Murray is not a good defender, and Nikola Jokic
and
also,
Scottie Pippen is the worst scorer between all of them.
Scottie Pippen,
the worst offensive player between all of them.
Jamal Murray is the worst player.
Jamal Murray has a 50, 42, 50 3-0 game in 3 straight games.
He is the worst player out of those.
Do you realize this? That's the funny part about this.
Sure. In the one year that this duo was not together,
but do you realize
Scottie
that
Pippen is leading them to a conference?
Do you realize that the 1 year
your duo missed out on time because
the issue you're running into is that Jamal Murray is one of 3 players, including Larry Bird and Steph Curry, to ever average 25, 5 and 5 and 39% from 3 and 90% from the free throw line ever. And on top of that,
that makes it better than Scottie Pippen.
You got 4 30, 20, 10 games in the NBA playoff.
So that makes him better than Scottie Pippen.
And then on top of that, what you can get out of Jamal Murray,
that makes him better
what you can get out of Jamal
better than Scottie Pippen.
And what you can get out of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic as a duo, because the conversation is duo, not individual player. How you play together, how you actually match up through the NBA playoffs together, how you play versus elite competition, how you play when you need to be guarded in the pick and roll, how you play when you run in one switch. When you run in one Iverson cut, you can put both of them in the action. When you want to get pinned down for both of them, you can do both of them. The thing is, when you play versus Jokic and Murray, these are 2 elite scorers and elite playmakers, and they play off of each other better than Pippen and Michael Jordan. If we're doing accolades, you got a conversation. If we're doing titles, you got a conversation. If we're doing individual achievements, you got a conversation. But the question is
everything
duo.
in the game. What are you talking about?
The question is
we're
duo.
Doing winning or
question is duo. How you play together is a duo. That's the conversation. Did Pippen and Jordan play on 2 great teams? They absolutely did. They did play on a great championship team with Phil Jackson. They absolutely did. But what happened is, when you play together as a duo, you have to be able to complement each other's skill set.
What happened is
you have to be able to complement each other's skill set.
What happened is, in terms of complementing skill sets, again, your duo has no defense to it at all. And
we're doing narratives. We can do narratives if you want. Because I know Scottie Pippen is a massive choker in the playoff. Massive choker in the playoff, since we're doing narrative. Michael Jordan couldn't win anything by himself since we're doing narrative. I can tell you this right now. When they needed to play in the playoffs, play defense, they had the third best. They had the third best defense.
Of course.
They had the third best defense in the NBA playoffs in 2023. So people keep saying this not defense thing. I see them guard Anthony Davis well. I saw them guard Rudy Gobert and Anthony Edwards.
Rudy Gobert?
I see them guard all these players well.
Rudy Gobert hit a fadeaway jumper over Nikola Jokic and got his ass out the paint.
LeBron
You
James
got beat by Rudy Gobert, and you are going to tell me that Jamal Murray is better than Scottie Pippen.
LeBron James has been swept twice in his career before he got to them. What do you mean you let me talk? This is the debate. Make better points. LeBron James got swept.
You're just
got swept. You know, make a better point. Go ahead. Make a basketball point. Go ahead. Make a basketball point. Go ahead.
Again, pieced up by Rudy Gobert. And you talked about
they lost one game off that one shot, by the way.
And you talked about, oh yeah, Michael Jordan can't win by himself. I'll let you have it. They won together as a duo.
But again, we're talking about duo, how you play together.
Nah, man. You know what? You remind me of me. Because if I was in your seat, the motherfucker would have talked louder than me too. You know what I'm saying? But his talking louder and his points are going to get him the edge.
Number 8 Nuggets gave a strong argument, and he had a lot of counters.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Nuggets too.
I mean, I feel like Rudy Gobert just hit a fadeaway shot over me to send me out the playoffs. This is crazy.
Kicking off the second round, we have our number 4 seed, Duncan and Tony Parker, versus the number 8 seed, Jokic and Murray.
I said this before, I'm going to continue to say it. Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, the greatest duo that we have on this panel. Simple reasons. Top 10 offenses, top 10 defenses, top 5 offenses, top 5 defenses. You know the Western Conference like I do. They went through it all. We're one of the few people and few teams, I don't know if anybody else has done this. We swept LeBron James in NBA Finals together, and we probably started the revolution that you see in the NBA of stars going into team up, because that spanking that they gave LeBron in the Finals, ultimately one of those things that sent him to the Miami Heat. And then we have the domino effect of KD going to the Warriors and so on and such.
It's funny you bring up sweeping LeBron James because I distinctly remember Jamal Murray averaging 32, 5, and 5 on 50, 40, 90 versus LeBron James to sweep him out the Western Conference Finals. And I do think it's funny that when I'm arguing the duo of the Spurs when Tony was clearly the third best player between Manu, Tony, and Tim Duncan. So that's interesting. And also, between Jokic and Jamal Murray, they have revolutionized how you run offense between a guard and a center by the way that they're all great screeners, they're great passers, great decision makers,
How the
and
hell
great
is
scorer
Manu
on top
Ginobili
of that.
better than Tony Parker, a Finals MVP winner, 4-time All-NBA, 6-time All-Star? Explain to me how Manu Ginobili is better than Tony Parker.
And the reason why Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are such a great duo is the fact that you could run these inverted pick and rolls. Namely, for instance, when you played him against him in the Western Conference Finals, when AD and they would have Dennis Schroeder, whoever, would guard the two players, they would run this inverted pick and roll, which forces the big to have to show and recover, or you force a switch. And what's the funny is Jokic is the best post-scoring big we've had in the NBA since Shaquille O'Neal. And the way they work together, when you have an elite three-point shooter and an elite passer, and you have a player that's literally one of the most efficient scorers of all time in Nikola Jokic, who's shooting 70% on floaters, 60% on mid-range,
making me
and
more
44%
You had
from
me
three.
going.
And then
You
on
had
top
me
of that,
going.
if you add
If
the fact that
Nikola
you have
Jokic
Jamal
is
Murray
as great
and
as you're
Nikola
making
Jokic
him out to
together,
be, then he
and
should
again,
have
it's
the
the
same
synergy
amount of
that
rings
existed between the
or
two.
more than Tim
Again,
Duncan.
we're getting to this ring argument. We're
because Tim
talking about
Duncan
how
is
they
that
play
great of a
together.
player.
But
And
I
so
think
is Tony Parker, and he was able to do it
the great
together,
part about
right?
having a dual discussion is you have to talk about how they play together. Let me give you a set. So for
my
instance,
guys playing
when
together.
the Denver Nuggets and the
Are
way
you
that they
telling
run
me
that
that you
board
don't think
set,
that-
what they do is they'll put
Swiper,
Nikola
I
Jokic,
believe
they'll
you're
put
my
Jamal
age.
Murray right at that
I believe
nail.
that you're my
and they'll
age.
run a
You
1-5
never
pick and
seen
roll
Tony
or a
Parker get it
1-4
at
pick
the
and roll.
elbow,
And what they'll
fake
do is
handoff,
you
dump
see
down. You
versus
never
the
seen
Miami
that. They
Heat
did that for
versus the
2
Miami Heat
decades.
versus the Los Angeles
2
Lakers versus the
decades.
Minnesota
And they
Timberwolves
were so great,
and versus
they were
the
able to
OKC
pump out
Thunder.
him.
I
put in him.
think what's so
They
interesting
kept that
about
team
this is that
so
when you,
great in the
again,
line
the
that they was able to get a Danny Green.
The conversations
they was able to go
about
let
duo.
a Kawhi
But if you're going to say who
it
can
was
play
the
off of who,
ecosystem of them two.
but again, you don't want to have
Tony
a conversation
Parker
about who can play
played
off of who.
Tim Duncan.
No, but Jamal, nobody plays off of anybody better than
Then
Jamal
why don't
off
they
Nikola
win
Jokic.
as much as the
Because they
Spurs?
had better teams. That's the whole
No,
point.
they don't.
Yes, if you're going to lie to me, I want everybody to listen in the audience. If you're going to lie to me and say
They
that
have
the
a better
Spurs
team.
didn't have better team than this Nuggets team,
Because
you're lying
of the
and you lost to
duo.
the debate.
The
And make
duo
sure, judges,
is
you
as
know
great.
that.
You
No,
have 2
they
Hall
had
of Famers.
Kawhi Leonard. They had all
Way
these other
later.
players. They had
And
Manu
they
Ginobili.
beat
They had
LeBron.
David Robinson.
When they-
What am I
no,
hearing?
they did not.
What am I hearing?
They have championships
In
without David Robinson.
1999, they had David
Tony
Robinson.
Parker wasn't
all
on that
these other
team.
players.
Tony
What are you
Parker
talking
was
about?
not on that
As a matter of fact,
Hey,
Tim
I need
Duncan
Ball
won.
Lewis.
Tim Duncan
You gotta
won
know this shit.
before he got there.
You have
Hold
to
on,
know it.
Audience,
You have to
wait
know
a minute,
this
wait a
shit.
minute, wait a minute. Did Tim
Tony
Duncan?
Parker
Did
was not
Tim
on that
Duncan
team.
win? No,
Tony
don't look at them.
Parker
Look at
was
no. Come back.
Tony
Did
Parker was not
Tim
on that
Duncan
team.
win before Tony got there?
Yes.
Okay,
One.
then you make my point.
How
You make
many
my
did he
point.
win after?
He had David
How many
Robinson,
did he
and
win
then he had
after?
the best defensive
How
class
many
in
did
the
he-
NBA with
I'm-
them.
so-
and then on top
so
of
are
that,
you-
I got it.
are you
No, let me tell you
crediting-
this. Let me tell you
are
this.
you saying
and then
Tim
we're
Duncan ain't
talking
great?
duo. No, he's of course he's great.
So what
But
are you
we're
talking
But
about?
so is Jamal Murray. So is Nikola Jokic. Matter of fact,
They ain't
you.
Tim Duncan.
Matter of fact, and by the way, y'all, you yourself think Jokic is the best offensive player ever. I've heard you say it.
I think that because this is going so well, we're going to get 24 seconds each for you guys, uninterrupted, to give your final point on why you have the best duo.
If Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are as great as you say, then they should be able to produce more championships. They weren't able to do that as much as Tony Parker and Tim Duncan. You talked about sweeping LeBron James when he was in his late 30s, almost 40. Tim Duncan and Tony Parker did that in the prime of LeBron James's career. My duo is better than yours. I understand that you're a Nuggets fan, so this is a little bit more passionate for you, but let's not be delusional. I know that you know basketball. 2 Finals MVPs on the same team, able to do it at the same level consistently in 2 different eras, the 2000s and the 2010s.
The fact that you're bringing up sweeping LeBron James with Boobie Gibson as his second best player goes to show how desperate you are in this conversation. And then on top of that, talking about Jamal Murray and talking about Nikola Jokic, the reason why the duo works is they have a synergy that we literally haven't seen between 2 players that are this level of scorers, this level of passers, this level of playmakers versus any defense. Matter of fact, versus the best defense we've ever seen in the OKC Thunder with just 3 healthy players. They went to 7 in that series with a 40, 15, and 5 game twice from Nikola Jokic and a 40 ball from Jamal Murray versus the Clippers as well. What, he didn't take 24 seconds. He took 45 seconds.
It's a lot of good points. A lot of times where people shut down those points. I'm giving it to Tim Duncan and Tony Parker.
I'm giving it to Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. He tried to go last, so he
got the tiebreaker.
I'll give it to the number 8 seed who came out and fought Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic.
I'm glad to end here. I don't got much more for y'all. My voice is gone. I'm limiting my words from now on.
My name is Frankenstein. I am a monster.
The dead have got something to say. And I'm saying it.
The Bride, rated R, March 6th.
Wrapping up our second round matchups, we have our number 3 seed Kobe and Shaq versus the number 7 seed Steph and Draymond.
We are talking about 2 top 5 players in the game at their prime. We are talking about 2 superstars in their prime who three-peated, who were the primary engines of the success of their teams. We're talking about those 2 against Steph Curry and a role player. I'm sorry. I don't even think they should be in this bracket in the first place.
Well, that's too damn bad because they are, and that's because they're a better duo than your duo, who obviously could not survive on each other for more than 3.5 years together at their prime before they had to break apart. My duo has all the reason in the world to break up over the years, and they continue to stay together. I have longevity on my side. Obviously, at the peak, everything I said in the first round, I have the best offensive player in the league, the best defensive player in the league. The two-way synergy is unmatched. That's a better combination than your guys, who are more talented, obviously. My duo actually makes each other better, actually covers for their faults, stay together for a long run, are way more influential. Nobody's influenced by Shaq being big. Nobody can go out there and say, I'm going to go be Shaq and Kobe. A whole league said, I want to get my Steph Curry and my Draymond. We talk so much about small ball, talking about how size doesn't matter, we need more shooting and all this stuff. Nobody's won with it besides Draymond Green at center. They have influenced the entire generation, try to be like them, try to find their Steph, find their Draymond. Nobody has done it. They define their generation better. They're just as dominant, have more rings than your top best duo of all time. There's more talented players.
What about Draymond?
What about him?
Where is he in the power forward conversation?
He's one of the greatest defenders of all time.
Where is he in the power forward conversation?
Probably low-key. He's probably pretty goddamn high relative to his what you perceive.
Relative? There is no relativity when it comes to Shaq. He's just one of the best centers of all time.
No, that's crazy. He's probably a top 10 power forward of all time because he is such an amazing duo to Steph Curry. That is a singular reason why he's in that conversation, why he's going to be a Hall of Famer, because his defense is so special, playing off of Steph Curry specifically, that him being a duo with Steph elevates him in these conversations. Steph Curry playing next to Draymond Green and having that defender by him, that playmaker by him, elevates him to being the greatest point guard of all time.
You're not going to get away with the fact that the success of the Golden State Warriors was not just Steph, Draymond, and them running over the West. It was Steph, Draymond, Clay, Sean Livingston, Andre Iguodala, all of them. When we're talking about the Lakers, it was Shaq, Kobe, and I dare to ask you again, who was their third best
Robert
player?
Horry, because he told me when I asked last time. Yeah.
So we're talking about
research. How about you try
we're talking about Robert Horry versus Klay Thompson, one of the best 2 guards of all time. One of the best shooters of all time.
I'm supposed to punish my team for having a good GM and finding more pieces.
You're not,
that are good?
but we're talking about duos. That's it. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up.
They won with Klay Thompson being really good in 2015 and obviously there for the double back-to-back with KD, and they won with him being washed post-injuries in 2022. Klay Thompson is marginal compared to the impact of Draymond and Steph Curry. They are the system. They're still the system now. They've stuck together this whole time. One's the offense, one's the defense. Just because there's good players coming in and out is fine. You got good players in 2004. You got 2 Hall of Famers coming in, and then you crumbled because it's not so easy to play with a lot of good players. You have to manage egos, manage touches, manage all this stuff. They manage to do it all the time. You know why? Because Steph Curry is the most impactful offensive player of his era who can play with anybody, and Draymond Green elevates everybody defensively. They are equipped to play with multiple people that are good, unlike your duo who they got to get their buckets and everybody else has a motherfucking watch.
My duo still did something that your duo never did, and that is three-peat.
And I got 4. Three's more than you care more about the number and back-to-back-to-back. I have more rings.
It is more impressive.
Who do you think was better at night? If somebody who has 4 rings in their hands or 3? They're all, thank God I didn't lose that one.
The one who three-peated, I ain't gonna lie.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Having another championship is clearly better. That's just stupid. That's absurd to think that 3 is better than 4, and no matter what the context is.
Isaac did have a good point about Steph being more influential. I do think you had something to go there because Kobe, everybody in the league is wearing Kobe's. So, there was a point there where you could have got there and went on that angle. But my vote goes to Isaac.
Golden State Warriors.
Golden State Warriors.
I'm not gonna lie, he out-debated me. I think that just shows the point of this show, the point of this video, is that this is about who's a better debater. Because I'm pretty sure we all know that Shaq and Kobe are actually the better duo, but if you can out-talk a person, I mean, hey, you out-debated them.
Our final round matchup, the number 7 seed Steph and Draymond versus the number 8 seed Jokic and Murray.
I really appreciate your duo. I think Nikola Jokic is one of the greatest offensive players of all time. In the running for GOAT offensive player, Steph Curry's blocking him. I think Jamal Murray is in the running for one of the greatest sidekicks in modern NBA history. Draymond Green is blocking him. Your duo is in the running for one of the most complementary duos of all time. My duo is blocking them because they do it offensively and defensively, not just offensively, while doing a lot of the same stuff offensively. You might end up being a really accomplished duo. Mine already is. You're chasing the ghost I leave behind.
I think one of the things you look for in great duos, especially greatest, is portability and how well they play together and how well they play with other people and how well other people play off of them. Currently, with just those two, those are the only all-NBA talents they've ever played with each other.
Mm-hmm.
They have currently led the greatest offense we've ever seen. They revolutionized offense together. And then in the NBA playoff, when they play versus the fiercest competition and the fiercest defenses, they have never lost when they've been on the court in less than 7 games.
I'm not going to let you
That's
pull
an
up that
important
greatest
thing.
offense shit. I understand how modern offensive ratings work. It keeps getting better and better and better. Per their era, the 2017-2018 Warriors with my duo, we're still the better offense.
That's not a duo. Kevin Durant was the second.
Yeah,
best
well,
player
has he
on that
won
team.
before them or after them?
Well,
No,
it's about
it
who
is a
played.
duo.
It's how they play together. Kevin Durant was clearly the second best player, most important player.
Yeah,
on that
clearly
team.
this, clearly that. He has never done anything outside of that. I'm not even going to entertain the talking point. We can leave Kevin Durant
Well, you
in the
brought up
past.
Kevin Durant.
You want to shit on Kevin Durant for 5 minutes? We can do it. Let's do it after the camera.
I don't have a reason to, but if you're going to acknowledge 2017-18, which you brought up, you need to acknowledge
wanna
that
talk about
Kevin Durant was
scalability?
clearly the best team.
I
That's
don't
what
need to
I'm
acknowledge that 'cause that's not true at all. But nevertheless, scalability,
Yeah.
Steph Curry, most scalable star of all time, even more than Jokic, better off-ball player. Well, Jokic just
So
as good on-ball.
one of the best interior scorers ever, one of the best three-point shooters ever, one of the best mid-range shooters ever, a more scalable player.
So obviously, the margins are close.
It's obviously not true. And then a much better offensive rebounder,
The
much
margins
better
are close,
screener.
but Steph Curry
and then
gets
on
a nod
top
there.
of that, if you're having a conversation with Jamal, who literally has outplayed Anthony Davis and LeBron James in a series.
And then got
Jamal
shut down.
Murray,
And then got shut down
who's
by Jaden
outplayed
McDaniels the
Jimmy
next
Butler.
day, while Rudy Gobert and Cat put Jokic in a torture
Shut
chamber.
down in 7. Oh, I forgot.
Yep, got
when
put in
you
a torture chamber.
lose in a game 7, scoring 35 points in 34-19.
What about the game? What about the games
that
leading up
means
there?
you got shut
What
down.
about the games leading up
But I
there?
distinctly
What about the games
remember-
leading to that game?
I distinctly remember Steph Curry with a 3.
Oh, now we gotta get loud. Okay. Now we gotta scream for 5 minutes.
I distinctly remember a 3-1 lead. Let me quiet it down so the audience can remember this. I distinctly remember a 3-1 lead for Steph Curry versus LeBron James, where he got walked and sucked down the rest of that series. I distinctly remember. I distinctly remember Draymond Green punching out people on the floor and getting suspended and losing in the biggest moment. I distinctly remember the fact that Steph Curry, unless he has universally the best help in NBA history, every single final run except for 2022 can't win. I distinctly
Is it my turn to scream
remember
yet?
that I can get quiet again.
Okay,
I distinctly remember that Nikola Jokic has never played next to another MVP player. I distinctly remember that whenever Jokic has a healthy roster around him, they go far and they win. The issue is injury. And on top of that, when your boy had a chance to win in 2019, and we remember versus the Toronto Raptors with no Kevin Durant, no Boogie, and it was just Draymond and just Steph. And what happened? They got walked.
Can I be toxic
Because
real quick?
Kevin Durant was hurt,
Can I be
because
toxic real quick?
Boogie was hurt, because Klay Thompson got
Can I be
hurt.
toxic real
So
quick?
as soon as they're not healthy, matter of fact,
Judges, can I be toxic real quick?
I remember in
Yes, they
2021
nodded. Has Jokic
when there was
ever-
no Klay Thompson, you didn't even make the playoffs in your prime. prime. So
Never
I
beat
do
a 50
remember
win
that.
team to win his ring, beat a bunch of bums, beat a bunch of 8
They
seeds,
beat a
7
50-win
seeds,
team last
yada,
year.
yada, yada, not to win a ring.
Hey, guess what?
2022 was individually a better ring than 2023. So
Jokic
that
has
alone makes me
never-
have more
by the
accomplishments
way,
than you.
just so you
That's
know,
to ignore 3
Jokic
rings
and
before
Jamal
that.
Murray have
Accomplishments
never
are
missed
nowhere
the
close.
playoffs in their peak in their career.
Great,
even
they
when
go
Jokic
there
was
and they
hurt.
get did by Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels.
Bro,
They get did by the 2020 Lakers blowing a
You
3-1 lead.
literally missed the playoffs in a prime peak year with Steph and Dre.
Nevertheless, I have 4 rings. You have 1. That is not close. I had the more complimentary duo because I had the best defender and the best offensive
with
player.
Kevin Durant,
Everything
with
you
Klay
say,
Thompson,
we
with Sean
invented,
Livingston.
we invented split
Keep
action.
adding
We
the
invented
numbers.
dribble handoffs.
Andre
My guys
Iguodala,
been doing it for
all
a
that
decade.
stuff.
Order in the court.
Listen, we invented dribble handoffs. All right.
Do y'all want to see an extra 24 seconds for each
I
candidate?
would love it. I would love it.
Hey, listen, this is uninterrupted.
Put that law down.
Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are great. Everything they do great. Draymond Green and Steph Curry do as well. They also are amazing playing through a hub big man, are amazing playing off ball, double screening, letting Steph Curry be a screener, influencing offense with them two on the court. All of that matches. Defensively, Draymond Green also carries the game. Aside that, not only do you have players who don't do that, they are active negatives at points. You can talk about the downfalls of them in 2016, etc. You also have had negative showings. Jamal Murray has had multiple years where he was garbage between his amazing seasons in the playoffs. Everything you've done, I've done, and I've won more.
I've never been up 3-1 in the NBA Finals and lost with the healthier team. So I think the issue is you're running into that Steph Curry in his prime missed the playoffs. Draymond Green in his prime missed the playoffs. And on top of that, unless you had all-time great help, you didn't win. And I think that's the biggest point here. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic have never played with another player the caliber of Kevin Durant. And then on top of that, Andre Iguodala, I for sure know of that duel, he won Finals MVP in 2015, and you value that stuff.
For the championship round, I want to let y'all know, y'all delivered. I will go with Swiper.
I'm going to go with the Warriors.
I'm going with the Golden State Warriors.
I think everybody did a really good job. I think, being in these environments is really difficult. When you got the pressure on you, you got the cameras on, and you got to put together a debate, a salient argument, and you don't know who you're going to be debating. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. I thought you did a great job. That was your best round that you've had so far. And I think that's what pressure does. You get pressure on you, some people rise, some people fold. You rose, and so that was a great finish from you.
I was surprised that you put Steph Curry and Draymond Green so low. Apparently, everyone thinks a lot less of Draymond Green than I do. I feel like this is a very clear-cut top duo of all time. I was hearing chatter from the other debaters. I should have picked Klay Thompson, which to me is crazy. But nevertheless, I'm glad to see the duo that deserves to get some representation.
That's going to do it for this episode of the GOAT Bracket. We will catch you next time right here on Clash.